Good evening and welcome. This is the South Haven, Michigan's Planning Commission meeting. This is Thursday, July 9th of 2026. Samantha, if you would please call the roll.
Michael Campbell,
Here.
Paul Fenton,
Here.
Clark Gruber,
Here.
Larry Heinig,
Here.
Mary Hasley, Ryan Servetus,
Here.
George Sleeper,
Here.
Tim Stegman, Bob Sherman.
Here.
I know that we've heard from Mary. Did we hear from Tim?
Yes, we did. Tim has a conflict with another meeting tonight. Yeah.
I'd make a motion then to excuse both Mary and Tim.
Support.
Moved and supported to excuse the absence of Commissioner Stegman and Hasley. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? They are excused. Thank you very much. We have an agenda, thanks to Kelly, as always. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I would move to approve the agenda with the following change. I'd like to make item 6D a closed session to consider a written legal opinion from the city attorney, and to move the public hearing for 419 Phoenix Street planned unit development to item 6E.
Support.
Thank you very much.
Support.
Moved and supported to amend the agenda, so 6D would become 6E, and 6D would become the closed session to consider the opinion from the city attorney.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I would like to amend that motion.
Please, go ahead.
After the end of the current motion, following 6.E. Insert the words and, comma, add agenda item 6.F. To consider two motions to place discussions of CBD building height restriction and CBD architectural character and style on next month's August 26th meeting agenda.
All right, thanks, Michael. Is there support for that?
Support?
Moved and supported to add an item 6F to discuss central business district height restrictions. And how did you phrase the rest of it, Mike?
CBD architectural style.
Architectural, thank you very much. Any discussion there?
So that would be a discussion tonight on those two items?
No, they're just two motions that would put it onto the agenda, and next month, it would be just a matter of deciding how we go about actually putting the discussion in place.
Right. George, did you have a comment?
Just was wondering who would be leading that discussion next meeting, or would it be Kelly or someone else, or would you be leading it, or how would that work?
We can have anyone lead it. I think the key is we need to determine how we're going to proceed with the discussion itself. You know, are we going to have this commission discuss it in full? Are we going to have a committee? And then we decide what we want to discuss, and then we start the discussion. So it'd be pretty summarial discussion next month even to get it going.
Just one more question. Would it be appropriate for that kind of direction to come from City Council first before we take it up in Planning Commission? That would be my only concern.
Yes, so let me be fully disclosed here. Tim and I, Commissioner Stegman and I, had a conversation about this afternoon because we've had many opportunities where people have said we should be discussing this or we should be discussing that. And my initial suggestion was for us to just have a meeting to put down a whole list of topics. Commissioner Stegman thought it would be more appropriate if we focused our efforts on a couple of major topics that are foundational to the downtown. And I know that he had originally thought we would go to the City Council and ask them for direction, but after he had had a couple of conversations, he came back to me and said, I think it's better if we simply start the conversation ourselves and then proceed to City Council with any recommendations.
And as background for George's benefit, I may not get the exact dates right, but I want to say it was earlier this year, January, February, March, somewhere there, where there was conversation around these topics, especially the height restriction. And Mary was going to go back to city council and see if there was any consensus there of how city council would like to see this proceed. And not sure why either there wasn't consensus, or for whatever reason, it never came back to us. So it's kind of been out there, unresolved, and I think some discussion, maybe even ideally as part of a joint meeting between the city council and planning commission, but somehow to get this conversation started, I think would be a worthwhile effort.
So I guess my feeling is still, if it's not coming from city council, I would hate for us to do efforts that are just going to go nowhere when it comes time to go to city council. So I'm going to vote no on the amended agenda.
And hopefully Mary would be able to come back at a future meeting of the planning commission with some feedback from city council on how they would like to see this discussion proceed. But I understand your point, George.
And how about clarification then? Mike, would we then be discussing how to ask city council whether or not they want us to work on this, or we would be making our own decision?
Well, I think
Discussions.
we would discuss that next month. You know, what George brings up is certainly an option. Do we believe that as a group, we should ask for direction from city council, or do we believe that we should begin the discussion because we have not heard back from city council? So George's option to ask for direction could end up being the option we choose next month, but until we have the discussion, we can't decide who's going to talk about what.
And if I may, I would say it is not inappropriate for the Planning Commission to take up a land use matter such as building height and architectural style in the Central Business District. The Planning Commission is well within its rights to develop a text amendment and send it to City Council.
Thanks for that, Kelly. Any other discussion?
It just seems to me like we kind of have a responsibility to be doing these kind of things. If you look at the just approved master plan for the city, there's a whole bunch of action items in there. And it's very unclear who is going to be looking at any of those items. But for us to really function as a planning commission, it seems like we should be examining and evaluating and recommending actions to the city council for consideration to help
Chairman,
us move forward.
I call for the question. We're discussing what we should be discussing next month.
Thanks for that, Larry.
So right now, there's a motion on the table to
Right,
amend.
there's a motion that's been supported
Amend the
to
motion.
add a 6F. Samantha, would you call the roll on that amendment?
Campbell,
Yes.
Vinton,
Yes.
Gruber,
Yes.
Heinig,
Yes.
Survetus,
Yes.
Sleeper,
No.
Sherman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. The agenda then is amended to add an item 6F, to add those discussion items to a future planning commission meeting. So we now have an agenda that's been amended a couple of times. Is there a motion to approve the amended agenda? I guess that would be appropriate, wouldn't it? No? It's
No.
already-
We have a motion
Yes.
to approve an
Thank you.
agenda with items 6A, B, C, D, and E. We now have approved an amendment to add F. So we need to go back to that original motion and vote.
Thanks for keeping us on track, Larry. Appreciate it. All right, then, Samantha, why don't you call the roll on that item?
Vinton,
Yes.
Gruber,
Yes.
Heinig,
Yes.
Survetus,
Yes.
Sleeper,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Sherman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you all. We have some meeting minutes, thanks to Kelly and her team again. We have the workshop meeting from June 4th. Is there a motion to approve those minutes as provided?
I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from June 4th, the workshop, and June 4th, the regular meeting.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any discussion regarding those minutes? All in favor then, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. Item 4, public comment. Citizens may address the planning commission regarding items on the agenda for which there is no scheduled public hearing, but as you can see, every item on this evening's agenda has an associated public hearing, so there's no appropriate public comment due there. Item 5, unfinished business, there was
Mr.
none.
Chairman,
We do have
Sorry.
F. F was added that has no,
Oh. Thank you very much.
You're-
Thank you
you're
very
welcome.
much. So there is an agenda item now, 6F. That does not have an associated public hearing, and there may be citizens who would like to comment on that agenda item. If so, please come forward,
Mr. Chair,
identify yourself.
before you do that, now would also be the appropriate time to read written public comments that were submitted, if there are any.
there's one.
There was one. I thought that perhaps save that for the associated public hearing, but you'd rather do it now?
I believe your bylaws require it to be read during the first public
All
comment
right,
period.
thank you very much. So we did have a communication from resident Gary Shower specifically in opposition to the special land use approval for 225 North Shore Drive to allow short-term rental to be approved there. So that was received. That is the only one that I'm aware of. Did I overlook any communications? Apparently not. All right, then, new business, and we have a couple of items here. 220 Elkenberg Street is the first of them. This is a special land use public hearing there. Kelly, you want to give us some background on that, please?
sure, Mr. Chairman. 220 Elkenberg is another townhome at Trailside Phase 2. This is Unit 6. And like the other townhomes that you all have reviewed for special land use requests for short-term rentals, this is a 2-story, 3-bedroom unit with 2 parking spaces. And we do need to hold a public hearing. You should also hear from the applicants if you so desire.
All righty, is the applicant here this evening? Yes, sir. Is there anything you'd like to say, add to the application on record?
Good evening. My name is Jessica Caswell, and I'm here with my husband, Dan. We're the owners of the townhouse in Trailside 2 Development. We're requesting an approval for the special land use permit to operate the townhouse as a short-term rental. The property is located within the short-term rental overlay district and is consistent with other Trailside 2 units that have already been approved for short-term rental use. There are no material differences in the unit or site conditions, and we intend to fully comply with the city and HOA regulations and responsible management of the property. Thank you, and we'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thanks. Any questions for the applicant? Thanks very much.
Thank you.
I make a motion to open the public
Yeah,
hearing.
thank you, George. I didn't think
Support.
we had done that. Moved and supported, open a public hearing. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Public hearing is open. So any citizens who would like to speak to the item on 220 Elkenberg Street, the application for special land use there, anyone who would like to come forward?
Mr. Chairman, I move we close the public hearing on 220 Elkenberg.
Second.
It's moved and supported to close the public hearing on 220 Elkenberg Street. All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? The public hearing is closed.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt resolution number 26-17, a resolution approving a special land use application for short-term rental use at 220 Elkenberg Street.
Support.
Thank you very much. Moved and supported to approve Resolution 2026-17, approving the special land use application for 220 Elkenberg Street. Any discussion there? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, we need to do a roll call on the resolution, please. Thanks.
Of course, I should have remembered that.
That's
Thanks, Kelly. Samantha, would you call a roll?
Gruber,
Yes.
Heinig,
Yes.
Servetus,
Yes.
Sleeper,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fitton,
Yes.
Sherman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Item B, 225 North Shore Drive, I need to disclose that my home is within the notice distance, the 300-foot notice distance So I'm going to recuse myself as being in conflict of interest, and Commissioner Heinig will manage this item.
I will take the gavel. Kelly, would you like to introduce this one?
Certainly, Mr. Chair. This is a request for short-term rental special land use at the North Shore condominiums. I believe we had a similar request at the last meeting. This is an upper-level efficiency unit number 209, and parking is on-site in a dedicated parking lot. We need to hear from the applicants and hold a public hearing.
Thank you. Is the applicant present? Do you have something you would like to add?
Both buildings are approved for short-term rentals already, and I would stand by anything that the association puts out.
Okay, thank you. I will entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
Move to open the public hearing.
Support?
Motion made and supported to open the public hearing. Any discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. The public hearing is open. Is there a member of the audience that would like to speak to us on 225 North Shore Drive? Going once? Going twice? I will accept a motion to close.
Mr. Chairman, I move we close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to close the public hearing. Discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 26-18, a resolution approving a special land use application for the short-term rental use for the dwelling unit at 225 North Shore Drive, number 209.
Support.
Motion made and supported. Discussion. We will have a roll call vote.
Servetus,
Yes.
Sleeper,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fitton,
Yes.
Gruber,
Yes.
Heinig.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Heinig. I appreciate your help. Item C, new business, a special land use application for the owners or from the owners of 79 Park Avenue.
Chairman?
Yes,
I'd
sir.
like to recuse myself of this one just because this is managed property by my wife.
All righty, so Commissioner Servetus would be in conflict here, will be recused from this discussion.
Mr. Chairman, I'm within the notification zone of this property, so I'm going to recuse myself from this.
Thank you very much for
Discussion also.
that. Thank you very much. Kelly, any background on this item?
Yes, this is an application that we have had for some time, which you may have noticed based on the date, but the address is 79 Park, which is actually across from the North Marina, although it has a Park Avenue address. It is a 3-bedroom, 2-story dwelling unit. The 2 parking spaces are partially located in the municipal right-of-way. And so the applicant actually saw the Zoning Board of Appeals and was granted a variance from the short-term rental parking requirements prior to appearing on tonight's agenda. So this dwelling has also been registered as a personal or now Class 2 short-term rental, but they would like to obtain the Class 1 certificate, which requires the special land use from the Planning Commission. And the applicant, Stacy Dupree, is present, and we need to hold a public hearing.
Thank you very much. And the applicant is present? Yes. Would you like to speak to any of your requests?
So thanks for having me. So glad this day is finally here. As you mentioned, we do currently have a personal license on the property for the last 2 years with no complaints. Everything is operated, without any issues. We are within the overlay district. We're surrounded by the marina on one side, a bed and breakfast behind us, a bed and breakfast on the other side of us, and then a resident to the left of us. I'm bad with directions, east, west, south, I'm not sure. We have 2 parking spots because we do now have the variance, and we've met all rules and regulations. So we are looking to upgrade to a business license, and that is all I have. Thank you.
All right, any questions for the applicant? Thank you very much. Is there a motion to open a public hearing on this item?
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
Support.
Moved and supported to open the public hearing. Any discussion? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? The public hearing is open. Anyone who would like to speak to the application for 79 Park Avenue can step forward and offer your thoughts. Seeing no one, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Support.
Moved and supported to close the public hearing. Any discussion there? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? The public hearing is closed. Is there a motion regarding Resolution 2026-19?
Mr. Chairman, I move we adopt resolution number 2026-19, a resolution approving a special land use application for short-term rental use for the dwelling unit at 79 Park Avenue.
Support.
Thank you. It's been moved and supported to approve Resolution 2026-19 regarding the special land use for 79 Park Avenue. Any discussion there? Samantha, would you read the roll there, please?
Heinig,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fenton,
Yes.
Gruber,
Yes.
Sherman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you all. And that takes us to item D on our amended agenda, which says we will adjourn to a closed session to hear an opinion from our council.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I move that we now meet in closed session to consider a privileged and confidential written legal opinion from the city attorney as permitted by Section 8(1)H of the Open Meetings Act.
Support.
Moved and supported to go to a closed session to consider a legal opinion. Any discussion there? Kelly, do we need a roll call there? Please, Samantha, if you would.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fenton,
Yes.
Gruber,
Yes.
Heinig,
Yes.
Servetus,
Yes.
Sleeper,
Yes.
Sherman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
So we will go into a closed session. We'll adjourn down the hallway to the staff conference room, and we'll return as quickly as we can, to be determined.
Everyone behave.
All right, we will resume our meeting. Oh, we certainly do. We certainly do. Thank you.
I think with all those cookies and ice cream we had back there, it must take them a while to clean up.
You're just a good humor man today. What? I didn't get any.
I got PTO in like one more day.
And we're fun.
But you did say we could.
Yeah. All right, I was slightly premature. Tried to resume our meeting without our most important participants present. So we did receive a privileged and confidential opinion from our attorney regarding the possible conflict of interest. I think for the record, is there a motion to declare?
Mr. Chair, I think at this point it would probably be appropriate to move on to the item for 419 Phoenix Street. At that point, the potentially conflicted commissioner can declare the possibility of a conflict of interest, and then the commission can resolve whether there's a conflict of interest.
All right, thank you for that. So on our amended agenda, item 6E is the consideration of the application for a planned unit development on 419 Phoenix Street. And Kelly, would you like to tee that up?
Sure, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This application is for a planned unit development for 419 Phoenix, as you already said, which is the location of the former Golden Brown Bakery. We held a concept review for this application at our last meeting. And at this meeting, the applicants are seeking the PUD rezoning and preliminary plan review. So as a reminder, PUDs are rezoning processes now, and the Planning Commission reviews a preliminary site plan and makes a recommendation to the City Council. And then if approved at the council level, the final site plan will come back to the Planning Commission for final site plan review. So this location is a 4,900 square foot parcel in the Central Business District. The development would include extensive remodeling of the existing structure, as well as an addition to include ground-level retail spaces, a little bit of on-site parking, and hotel rooms on the second and third floors, as well as a rooftop event space. In order to offer the rooftop event space, the applicant has applied for the PUD, which would allow the deviation for the fourth floor, as well as an additional 2 feet in height. So the Central Business District sets a height limit of 45 feet and 3 stories, and the PUD would allow some flexibility to ask for a deviation from that requirement to have an additional 2 feet and 4 stories. As stated in the application, proposed benefits of the application are the addition of the hotel, increased activity downtown for businesses, modern design elements, and maintaining some community character, and the possibility of serving as a catalyst for additional revitalization. And I'm sure the applicant will talk additionally about the benefits that they see for this project. Brad, do you have anything that you'd like to add at this time?
No, not at this specific time. You summed it up pretty well.
Okay. The applicants are here, and we need to hold a public hearing tonight.
All right, then. Is there a motion to open a public hearing?
So, Mr. Chairman, at this point, now would be the time to resolve the potential conflict of interest. So the potentially conflicted commissioner would declare the potential conflict, and then the commission should resolve whether there's a conflict or not.
All right, so the potential conflict involved Commissioner Servetus and Commissioner Stegman, who's not present at this time. And we've had discussion and opinion from attorneys. Is there a motion then to declare?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
I move that we find that Commissioners Stegman and Servetus are not in conflict on this item.
Support.
Moved and supported to declare that Commissioner Servetus and Stegman are not conflicted in regard to this item. Is there discussion?
Mr. Chair, one suggestion. Since Commissioner Stegman is not here and doesn't have the ability to indicate whether he believes there's a potential conflict, I would recommend that this only pertain to Commissioner Servetus.
I therefore would make an amendment to the motion to remove Stegman from the original motion.
Support.
Moved and supported to amend the original motion. So I guess we should vote on the amendment to the motion. Any discussion there?
Do I vote on this?
Yes, you can participate in this, yes.
So
Discussion of that
no,
amended.
Commissioner Servetus will abstain. It will be the non-conflicted members, or the members who are not potentially conflicted who vote on this. So no, Commissioner Servetus will abstain from this.
All right, thank you. Samantha, why don't you call the roll on that amendment to Commissioner Campbell's original motion?
Gruber,
Yes.
Heinig,
Yes.
Sleeper,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fenton,
Yes.
Sherman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
So the amended motion would declare that Commissioner Servetus is not conflicted in regard to the item E on our agenda, 419 Phoenix Street, the planned unit development request. Do I have that right, Counselor?
Correct.
Thank you. Any discussion of that motion? Samantha, would you call the roll again, please?
Heinig,
Yes.
Sleeper,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fenton,
Yes.
Gruber,
Yes.
Sherman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you all. So now I think we can consider a motion to open a public hearing on this topic.
Mr. Chairman, would you like to hear from the applicant first?
Well, shall we do that first? Thank you. The applicant is Eric, I think, right? Thanks for being here, Eric.
Thank you for all your time. Appreciate that. So everybody knows, I'm Eric Leatherberry with Cottage Home, as the owner's rep for Model Theater. We do appreciate and thank you for the time of the previous meeting to collaborate on discussion in regards to things that have helped us improve what we are proposing. So, just want to give a couple more descriptions of what we're exactly looking to do. We are proposing a 12-room hotel and retail space with a main floor to have a hotel entrance, hotel lobby, parking, and retail space. Second and third levels will have 6 hotel rooms each, and then the rooftop structure, which is the 4th floor, will have open green space, covered outdoor space, meeting, gathering space, and the space is intended to be used by the hotel guests to enjoy camaraderie, dining experience, and majestic views over the South Haven Harbor. This development, we feel, will bring more public safety to the existing unoccupied building, updated facade to blend into the central business district, parking that currently is not there, along with conforming with the existing structures on Phoenix Street, staying in the same plane rather than protruding into where the property line is at. Along with the project team is scheduled to have our construction documents completed by the end of the month, which would allow us to be willing and able to start this construction this fall and be open summer of next year. We do have some momentum. We understand there's processes and things we have to follow, which we totally respect and understand. But being an unoccupied building, we'd like to do what we can on our part to provide any information needed. We did get the review from the city engineer, and we've got that passed on to the civil engineer to revise our site plan. In addition, I know parking is concerns, right? We do currently have control over 8 parking spaces in town, along with the 3 that are on our site plan. And have plans to acquire more before the project is completed. And happy to answer any questions.
Questions for the applicant? Go ahead,
Mr. Chairman.
I'm a little confused about the number of parking spaces. I read different things in different parts of your text, or maybe I'm looking at 2 different documents. What is your current plan for parking spaces?
On site with our site plan, we have
Yes.
3 parking
3.
spaces. Yes.
Okay.
But what I was, sorry, I probably didn't clarify that correctly, that we have control over 8 parking spaces that are off-site, right, currently, so.
I'm looking at one of the drawings here, and I'm trying to get it pinned down. It's the first floor plan. Kelly, can you put that one up?
You had it right there.
Yeah.
I can. Can you narrow in on a page of the packet?
Page
for me?
121 of the agenda packet.
Thank you very much.
That's what I was looking for. Thank you.
And Eric, there's some question too, because at least 1 or 2 of your drawings reference golf carts.
Correct,
And
yep.
is that the intention? And some drawings show 2 parking spots perpendicular to Phoenix Street, perpendicular to the alleyway, with 1 horizontal to the alleyway.
Correct, so the intent here is on the alleyway. Currently, there's a set of stairs that protrude into the alleyway that would be removed. All of the rear access would be lowered to the alley height. So there would be technically 2 parking spaces for vehicles inside the garage, and then there would be a perpendicular spot in front of the garage door that would allow a 3rd vehicle. The intent is to have off-site parking for the full-size vehicles and provide a smaller electric vehicle for them to use while they're there for their stay.
So on this drawing, I'm seeing 3 golf carts.
Correct.
Where are the cars parked?
On the in the off-site parking spaces that we will provide for them. Because there's
The 3 parking spaces. I'm asking where those 3 parking spaces are.
they'd be in an off-site location.
They are off-site.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So, but there are 8 that are off-site.
Correct.
But
Currently.
there aren't any on-site parking for cars. They're the golf carts that people will use to go to and from their 8 spaces, correct?
Correct, yep.
It's 8 more than what?
Because currently
CUD is required.
there is none required, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
But the intent of that space in front of the garage door, it gets recessed off the alley, so you could pull off the alley and properly unload instead of using a space on Phoenix Street, which if you did use a space on Phoenix Street would be similar to if you would go in and eat breakfast at a bakery for the amount of time used.
And I think providing some kind of vehicle to take yourself to your parking spot, although that leaves a vehicle over there, you could have somebody drive back and forth. It's a way to get to and from parking spaces that this facility has control over, which is an addition.
And these off-site spots, are they dedicated to your use, or are they
That would be
as
the
they're
intent.
available?
That would be the intent, that they're dedicated to this particular space.
Okay. Can you share where those would be? It's still a negotiation.
It is partial negotiation. There are 8 that are secured. There's intent to have much more, but
Okay,
they're in town.
okay.
When we were looking for a lobby, we got the lobby. He's actually providing some parking spaces. We have had a history of other businesses having additional parking somewhere off their site. So this does provide something along those lines. They're not required to, but there are 8 parking spaces for 16 rooms.
It's 12, or it's 12 rooms.
12. I made it too large, sorry.
No, that's all right.
So
Please, go ahead, Paul.
You mentioned that the 4th floor facility is for hotel guests.
That's correct.
So would you or would you not intend to rent that for events if somebody else wanted to have an event there?
You'd have to, the intent is that you're a hotel guest to use that space,
Okay. Thank you.
because that does change the, right. The other,
You can finish and then I'll ask.
I just had a couple, the previous meeting was very helpful to really dissect that lobby space, which helped us understand that a little more. A couple other things that we addressed were the rooftop space, where there was a potential for either a sauna or a hot tub to have those 2 doors that are dedicated. Those could be locked at times. Also on the Phoenix Street side, to create some open space, like green space, to kind of create a buffer, that there's some type of a vegetation there that helps with the heat. Also, the fact that you can't walk up there and throw your stuff over the edge, so that was a concern. So those were a couple adjustments that we made.
So on page 121 of the packet, Kelly, you are showing a dedicated lobby. Some of the drawings seem to imply there might be as many as 3 retail spaces, but you're 1 retail space and the lobby. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. So there's a retail space on the west side of the building.
Yes.
The lobby space is dedicated with the center door, also other access that can be accessed at all times. The lobby space could have, there's a sitting area that we have there, whether it has, merchandise of the hotel or not, but yep. It did help with the flow too, the way that goes to the parking in the foyer area.
So we have the lobby and the check-in desk. Can I assume then that we have a manned
It would be a
check-in
man
desk
check-in desk.
with an employee of
With
the
a-
hotel?
Correct, yep. After our previous meeting, I went to Old Harbor Inn, and on the door, it says lobby hours are 10 to 6, right? Call this number if you need it outside of that time. So there's obviously going to be times or situations or seasonal times that it would have reduced hours, but the intent is that there is a full-time employee at that desk with other ways to communicate and access the building.
So in the new plan, I couldn't see it and maybe I just missed it. Are the hot tubs gone or are they just put somewhere else?
They're not, we just took them off the plan.
Okay.
The intent is that space could be used for that, outdoor gathering space, if chose to do that.
Okay. So they're off the picture, but they may come back on.
It could be if that, fits in the budget or what that space wants to be used for. But the intent was just to create that separate space that can be a more controlled environment.
Thank you.
And you specifically say that that space will be roofed and enclosed, so that would be pretty much all of the area except that what's designated as outdoor space. Everything else would be roofed and enclosed, is that right?
Correct. So outdoor covered porch, outdoor gathering space, outdoor covered hearth, outdoor gathering space. Those all are technically outdoor areas. Meeting area with the hall, the restrooms, the access points, those are all more conditioned space.
Okay.
I believe there was a percentage on there equal to roughly,
I think it's on that plan page.
30-some%. So,
Other questions?
One more question.
Yes, sir.
I believe in the last meeting that we had, one of the commissioners brought up the fact that with a PUD, the applicant gets something and the city gets something in return, and that what we're getting in return is somewhat light, I believe is the word that was used. And I was wondering, having had the additional month, have you thought of any other benefits that the city is getting besides the 2 parking places?
the three things that I had on my kind of vision of what we felt like we were giving back was, one, to, improve a vacant building, right? Improve the facade, the public safety of that space. The alleyway is not conforming as the way it is, and making that conforming, along with providing some parking versus no parking, and also staying in compliance of, the same plane of what buildings are on Phoenix Street. So, because the property lines actually protrude out, but, keeping that in the same plane of renovating what's there. So, and just simply improving the town, right? I mean, the Central Business District has vacant land around the corner to take this building and improve it and make it something that can be used. Buildings are only going to continue to be renovated and only get older. To take this and prepare it for the next building beside it to also get renovated or extended. There's no windows on either side, allowing that next building to be renovated or raised to whatever height is allowed. Also, we're bringing those walls in to not use any of the common wall and have our own independent structure, which allows those buildings to also, improve over time, which is only going to be a matter of time. But as that is said, right, cost of construction only continues to rise every day, and that's our intent, is to keep the momentum and work with what needs to be done.
And hopefully would spur some other building owners to perhaps keep up with what you've done. So,
yeah.
Other comments, questions for the applicant? Thanks very much, Eric. Appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time. I've lost track. We've not opened a public hearing yet, have we? Is there a motion to do that?
I move we open the public hearing.
Support?
Moved and supported to open a public hearing. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. The public hearing is open. Any citizens who would like to speak to this item? The request for a plan unit development for the property at 419 Phoenix can please come forward and offer your thoughts. If you would, sir, identify yourself and your address. Thank you very much.
Bob Lesher, 414 Quaker Street. A little concerned or unsure about the parking they're talking about in the alley. That alley is very congested. Right now, going one way, which people do not observe. With the bank there, it's just, I'm a little concerned how he's going to get two more parking space out of a place that there isn't room for it.
Thank you very much. Other comments? Is there a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Support?
Moved and supported to close the public hearing. Any discussion of that? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Public hearing is closed. Discussion about the application, the request for a planned unit development for 419 Phoenix Street.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
You know, on paper, the development looks good. It certainly will provide hotel space to the downtown and provide a new way for people visiting to house themselves and potentially meet. I guess the stumbling blocks I have concern the height deviation and granting that, as well as the lightness of the benefits that the city is receiving in exchange for what it is giving. We've struggled with height downtown for years. Back in 2022, the property across the street, Consumers Credit, went to the ZBA looking for a variance in order to have 4 floors and 50 feet. That project would have provided 11 to 15 apartments for housing within the town. The ZBA said no, and their rationale did not meet the intent of the ordinance, which was to keep the height at what it was for the character of the neighborhood. After that, the Planning Commission and the City Council went after the subject on a residential basis, and nothing could come of that. They tried to change the height in the residential areas, and Commissioner Sleeper, I believe, presented a motion in City Council, and it couldn't even get seconded. Then there was the Locker property that asked for a PUD, and there was a long, drawn-out process for that. Ultimately, it was given. I think what the city got there was, I think they got parking, they got a bathroom, and they got some green space, I think. Now, you have to throw them in the air and say which is better. I'm not sure two parking places is necessarily the greatest benefit for the city. I think more importantly, the height remains an issue because of our history and the need for us to grapple with the issue and take care of it and decide upon what we're going to do in this city downtown as far as raising the elevation of the buildings that are allowed, or across the board, or to leave it as it is, as opposed to a piecemeal approach of, okay, we have a PUD approval here, we have a variance denied there, we have another PUD approval here. I'm not sure that's the right way to go. This hotel could be built according to the plan without the 4th floor. It could be 3 stories, 45 feet. I don't know how integral the 4th floor outdoor space is to this project, but it could be built in the existing zoning structure we have as a special land use in the CBD. So those are the things that I struggled with in approving this PUD.
Thanks, Mike. Brian?
Mr. Chairman, looking at this plan, one thing I do like is from years of looking at what the planning's done that you guys have done in council and people's interest coming to speak is we want more vacationers out of the residential areas and in downtown. Having them walk around cuts down on traffic. But at the end of the day, when you're downtown, everything has to go higher if you're going to have more density downtown. And if we're looking at that as the Locker Plaza was going to do, and not Locker Plaza, but Locker's development. And I'm not sure how it went backwards on the Consumers Credit Union building, but at the end of the day, when you get done and you want to relax, sitting on a rooftop deck like this to relax is nice with your family to relax and just have a good evening. We've stayed in plenty of hotels like this, my wife and I, when we visit other places, Chicago or other places, and it's nice to go up and sit and just relax on the roof and just watch the scenery. I don't think the variance is asking too much to go higher. I think what I'm seeing is over time, we are going to come to a consensus and have a new height restrictions for downtown. And I don't know, turning this down to wait for that versus moving this forward till we can get progressively closer to that or work on that, I think it's the right way to go. But, you know, you make excellent points on what you're saying. What do we get? What do we give? I'm not sure what more they can give because there's no green space there, being such a small lot downtown. I do like that that building currently right now does sit empty. This is a great renovation of this spot. So I see a lot of pluses. There are some concerns that you posted and others that we can talk as we go forward, but I like what I see so far.
Thanks. Other comments? Go ahead, George.
So I like this plan. I like the site plan. To me, the 2-foot exception and the adding the 4th floor exception, to me, is not a big deal. I think it's an acceptable exception. One thing I did want to bring up is more of a process issue, because one of the things that we have to look at, Section 1811, or Section 1811C of the zoning ordinance says, in order to recommend approval of the PUD preliminary plan and PUD rezoning, the Planning Commission shall find the standards of 1812 are satisfied. And you go to 1812, one of the standards is that the PUD shall satisfy all local, state, and federal laws, rules, and regulations. So when I see that, it seems to me we also need to make sure that we're including Section 1904, which is a special land use for a hotel in the Central Business District. And I found later on that in Section 1813, it says, for land uses within the PUD that require special land use approval, the Planning Commission basically shall review that process concurrently with the process for PUD plan review and PUD rezoning. So I did look at the special land use requirements for a hotel in the Central Business District. It looks to me like they're pretty much met, although it may be good to go over them as a group just to make sure. And I don't know if we need to include that in our motion or anything like that to make sure that, because otherwise I think we might need to somehow approve the special land use in a different meeting or something like that. So
The special land use to allow the hotel, which is not used by right in the CBD. That's what you're referring to, right?
correct. It's not by right, it's special land use.
Right, right. All good points? All anything to add?
If I might, I think we have to consider the fact we've got an empty building. Interest rates are high, relatively speaking. Construction costs are going up. Real estate is not becoming less expensive. And inflation is definitely impacting our economy. The reason I mention those things is we can choose not to go forward, but I think we have a risk of ending up in the same situation we're at around the corner. And it appears to me as though we have an opportunity to do something positive. there are some issues. I agree absolutely with Commissioner Campbell that we should address the height requirements and the three-story requirement systematically. I think what we're doing is inefficient, and I don't think it does a service to potential investors. But it just seems to me like if we believe this is a good project, and I do believe that, I don't think we're wise to wait.
All right, thanks. Clark, anything to offer?
I do like the improvements. I can see where the developers listened and made some good changes. Commissioner Campbell's questioning of the height, I think, is a concern. I also know that, and I feel bad for consumers. Consumers went at their project a different way than the Hales and Locker project, and now this project going to PUD. So I feel like this is a good project, and I'm good with the height. And we're going to talk more about height later, which if we keep doing these, I think we need to rethink the height. However, Commissioner Sleeper's questions, I know that staff probably thought about a potential response to that. And I think before we go forward, we would want to get some kind of thoughts from staff regarding some points brought up by Sleeper. That's what I have. And it is light on what we get back.
Larry, you always have something profound to say.
Always have something to say. I'm not sure about the profound part. I think the developer certainly listened to us last month. He satisfied my questions with what he did. It wasn't all that I was hoping we would get, but I can certainly see the constraints that are on him as far as coming up with more for us to benefit here. So from that standpoint, I didn't get everything I wanted to, but I'm satisfied that he's done his work, done his homework. I am not concerned that we haven't taken a stand to raise that height. I think we've got something here that's working pretty well for us. And we use that height to get some concessions for the developer every time they come in to us. If we raise it across the board, we lose a bargaining chip. So I'm not in any hurry to get that taken care of. I think we've done a pretty good job with it here. I like the idea that we're getting this building taken care of rather quickly. We don't have the eyesore that Hale has become, and how many years that has been. And I'm not blaming the property owner. It's just the way the economy struck us on that one. But to see something happening here right now, I like the looks of that. So those are my comments.
Thanks very much. I think those are good comments and all have a lot of merit. I'm going to be a little bit, I don't know what, idealistic. I think this could be a real spark to see some significant improvement in what's downtown. I thought the Locker property might do that. I said earlier, I think it might spur neighboring properties or neighboring owners to consider improvements in their own areas. And I think we need to be encouraging and welcoming to developers. I look at all the activity going on in the township. There's a lot of building activity in the township, and obviously the township has got a lot of available land that the city doesn't have. But I just wonder, is the township somehow more welcoming, more encouraging? Do we need to be more that way? So I commend Model Theater and Cottage Home and the owner here. So I think this is well worth our consideration. Any other comments?
Just a question. So with respect to Commissioner Gruber's comments about going through the special land use, given this, if this gets approved as a PUD, do we have the special land use to go through as well?
Brad, do you
Can
want
you
to?
tell me exactly what section you were quoting from, Commissioner Sleeper, regarding
I
the
have it right
requirement
here.
for special land use?
So in section 1813, which is the PUD final site plan section, number 6 has what it's talking about for land uses within the PUD that require special land use approval. And then it goes on to, or PUDs that contain private roads, subdivisions, or elements that require planning commission approval, such that such uses shall be reviewed and approved in accordance with all other applicable sections of the zoning ordinance and other adopted ordinances of the city of South Haven. These review processes may occur concurrently with the process for PUD plan review and PUD rezoning, which is the PUD plan review and PUD rezoning is what we're doing right now.
Correct. And I understand that last line. How I read this or how I interpret this from what Andy would have written when he wrote this is that sometimes when people do a PUD process, they choose to do a final site plan review at the same time as the original rezoning of it and the preliminary process as well. So it would all be handled in one process where you would be doing multiple motions of approval, but we can ask the attorney to see if he concurs.
Yeah, I agree. So if you look at up to section 1813 subsection 1, that talks about either concurrently with the submission of the PUD preliminary plan or within 1 year of approval of the PUD preliminary plan, that the applicant would go through the PUD final site plan process. Subsection 6 then indicates that when you are going through the final PUD site plan process, if the land use is one that would require special land use approval, that the use has to be reviewed and approved in accordance with the applicable special land use provisions. The last sentence says, these review processes may occur concurrently with the process for PUD plan review and PUD rezoning. But that would only apply if the applicant was seeking PUD final site plan review concurrently with the preliminary plan review. The applicant is not seeking final site plan review now, so there would be no reason for the Planning Commission to do that concurrently with respect to the special land use review.
So if I understand it right, the process then would be under final site plan review, we would also review the elements for a special land use at that point.
Yes, because, and two, at this point, you don't necessarily know who the tenants are, who are going in. Potentially there could be uses that would be special land uses, so it's going to depend on exactly what they bring back for their final PUD plan.
And the thing that I caution people about with that is, so I brought this up at the last meeting too, the part about a hotel having a lobby, that's in the special land use section. So if there are elements for the special land use that need to be incorporated into the plan, sometimes you need to do them as part of the preliminary plan, because otherwise there could be a lot of rework at the back end, because now you're looking at elements that should have been incorporated early on. And I know Kelly and staff have communicated this section with the developer, so.
All right. Any other comments, questions? Is there a motion?
I've got it. I'll take a crack at it.
Please, George, thanks.
Recommend approval of the PUD rezoning to the City Council with the conditions as follows. 1, approval of the requested deviation of 2 feet and a 4th story for the proposed expansion of the building. The development will contain 1 commercial retail unit and a hotel lobby on the 1st floor. The 4th story event space is available only to guests of the hotel. The applicant shall remove the 3rd parking space in the rear of the building parallel to the alley.
Mr. Chairman, I'd hate to interrupt you,
No,
Commissioner
that's
Sleeper.
fine.
There is a resolution in the packet
Right.
that contains some of these conditions that you're reading.
Page 135 of the agenda packet has some, if not all, of what you're suggesting, George. Page 135 in the packet. Resolution 2026-20.
I think there were some things I weren't sure about with that resolution, and that's why I was trying to make up my own. Let me pull it up here.
I'm sorry to interrupt you then, but
135, okay.
135, yeah.
Yeah. And it does specifically mention the removal of the 3rd parking space.
In the lobby?
Don't
So the one about the third-party commercial properties with which the applicant intends to coordinate additional off-street parking, in my opinion, that's not necessary. There are no requirements for that parking, so I didn't see the need to have that as a condition.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes, sir.
My suggestion would be, a motion could be made to adopt the resolution, and at that point, the resolution could be amended as the Planning Commission sees fit. Alternatively, if Commissioner Sleeper or other commissioners believe that the resolution is so far off from what they would put into a resolution, I think it would be appropriate to give staff guidance so that we can bring back a different resolution for you at another time.
I would just delay.
So is there a motion regarding the resolution that we have in the packet? We could move, and then we could modify, amend that as council is suggesting.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I think Commissioner Sleeper has to give up the floor on his motion before we proceed otherwise.
And if we did that, could we add some of your items? Because I know there's some items that I think are on like page 100 where you talk about the lobby and what have you, and we can insert those into the resolution amendment.
Yeah, so I was kind of basing my contingents on the staff report, which is different than the resolution. And so I'd have to kind of go back and I think we can probably work with the wording in the resolution. All right, so I will continue to make my motion, starting over. I make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-20, a resolution recommending conditional approval of the plan unit development, preliminary plan and plan unit development rezoning for the property known as 419 Phoenix Street, and recommend approval to the City Council.
Support.
Moved and supported to recommend the resolution in 2026-20. Is there discussion there?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
and Commissioner Sleeper, this may inform some of what you were trying to do. So, Kelly, we had the conversation about the 5 conditions that were on page 100 and 101 of the packet. And you distinguished those that were already in the resolution from the others, namely 4 and 5 are in the resolution. 1 is assumed, so 2 and 3 on page 100 are not included in the resolution. And my understanding was that so long as we heard the answers to those questions with certainty from the applicant, it was your opinion that it didn't need to be in the resolution from your perspective, regardless of what we might otherwise want to put into it. Is that correct?
That was my perspective. However, if the Planning Commission feels differently and would prefer that those conditions be contained in the resolution, that is acceptable, and a motion could be made to do that.
Other discussion?
You want to somehow make it an amendment to that motion to include a couple of those items that weren't, just so we know that it's included? It's 2 and 3, right? Which I think are like 2 and 3.
Yeah, 2 and 3 would be the ones in question that are not in the resolution.
Right. I'm just trying to think where in the resolution that would go. Would it be under resolved 1? Because that's where the parking one is.
Yes, I'm looking at page 136 of the packet.
Right.
Resolve, now therefore be it resolved that item 1, and then there's 1A and B. Let me put it on the screen, that might help.
So those could be added as a C and D?
Right.
Yes, if that is what the Planning Commission wishes to do.
But I was planning on getting rid of B
Yeah, that's
because I don't really think it's needed. There is no required parking,
Okay,
so we don't really need that as a condition.
okay. But we do we now have been confirmed that it is in fact going to be a commercial unit and a hotel lobby. That was said, so we might as well not say confirmed, whether we now have that confirmation. And then the event space, which, I mean, it's for the use of the people that are there. I mean, I would think if somebody rented that hotel room and then had family members, I could add that in there. So I would make a motion to amend, and my amendment would strike,
Item B.
therefore it be resolved, 1B as in boy.
If you will give me one moment, I will pull up the resolution separately, and I can type while we talk. If you're
You may
amenable.
have that moment.
Okay.
I will slow roll again, because I practiced.
That way it reads the way you'd like it to. Maybe. It's opening, I promise.
Yeah. I will mime taking off my glasses. Clean them.
Thank you, perfect.
go.
But I need to make it larger. I don't know where my,
So the right-hand page, what you have there, Kelly, I think what we're talking about is perhaps deleting item B.
Yeah, let her make that a little larger for the audience.
I think that's about as big as it's wanting to go. Okay.
All right. No, I think it's number 1.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
there we go. Okay. I'll continue by removing B and inserting the development will contain 1 commercial.
Sorry about that.
Okay. Commercial/retail unit and hotel lobby on the first floor.
It is.
That's okay, she'll get to that.
I'll fix it. And I'll re-number.
Okay.
Okay.
And then D will be the 4th floor story event space will only be available to guests of the hotel.
George, does that touch all the bases for you?
Yes, I was considering one other one, but I think I changed my mind about it. It was going to be the developer shall incorporate the recommendations from the engineering department, sanitary sewer department, water department, and street department, because I thought all those recommendations were good, but that can wait till the final site plan.
Right.
I concur with that.
Support the amendment.
All right.
So I'm good with the amendment.
So George had the original motion, Clark has amended the motion, that's been supported. Any further discussion about the amendment to the motion?
I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
In practical space, if the owners finish the building and they decided they wanted to rent out the 4th story event space for events to people not at the hotel, would the action we're taking tonight, would they have a path forward to do that?
My opinion would be no, because the special land use section says a hotel that includes a public meeting space, which is what you're talking about,
Yes.
would need to provide parking to accommodate that use. And since they're not incorporating parking, then they would not be able to do that.
So they couldn't do that because it's a requirement for the special land use, but it really wouldn't be bound by the action we're taking right now.
Well, we're making it a condition of approval
I understand.
that it's just for hotel guests.
But if it's already a requirement, if there are already requirements in the special land use section and they're going to need to come through that process.
Mr. Chairman, if the circumstances were to change, a PUD amendment might be necessary, and they could seek to amend the PUD at a later date.
I guess the question I'm attempting to ask poorly is if there are already requirements that they're going to have to do that they would have to follow in the special land use section, why would we even include it?
I see what you're saying.
And I'm not opposed to what we have there. I just don't think we should add things on that don't absolutely have to be there. Because at times, people come back, and we do have a process for them to change their mind. But we shouldn't be making it more complicated.
I like it the way it is.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, if I can clarify one thing as well, this is only a recommendation, so the conditions in here don't bind anything. It will ultimately be up to city council, and if city council includes these
Right.
conditions, then
Understood.
it would be binding, but just
I
want to
understand.
clarify that. So your action
Understood.
tonight won't bind.
All right, can we have a roll call on the amendment to Mr. Sleeper's motion?
Servetus,
Yes.
Sleeper,
Yes?
Campbell,
Yes.
Fenton,
No.
Gruber,
Yes.
Heinig,
Yes.
Sherman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
And now we would need to vote on the amendment, I'm sorry, the resolution as proposed by Mr. Sleeper. Any further discussion there? A roll call, please, Samantha, on the amended motion.
Sleeper,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Fenton,
Yes.
Gruber,
Yes.
Heinig,
Yes.
Servetus,
Yes.
Sherman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. Good luck, Eric. And it'll be exciting, I think. It'll be exciting to see something really, really positive happening. That's what I'm thinking, so. Item 6F on our modified agenda. Could you restate that?
Sure. It's to consider two motions to place discussions of CBD building height restriction and CBD architectural character style on next month's August 26th meeting agenda.
All right, then. And that was a motion.
Well, I haven't, no, that was the motion that
Oh.
put it on the agenda. So simply this, we've talked already the background of it. The fact that we have talked about a number of items that we should be talking about, and we aren't talking about them. So this is an attempt to take two large items and put them on the agenda for next month to be able to discuss what we think of the current situation and how do we think we need to change things, and if so, how do we proceed? Could be a number of ways. We could decide we don't want to change anything, but I think we need to at least take these on as discussion items and work through them a bit in order to understand the position of this commission as far as what we want to see going forward with respect to those two items.
So this would just be direction to staff to include those items on an agenda at our next meeting.
And it would be purely, they would have no work. We would simply have a discussion of each of the items around those. Do we think we need to change? What are some of our ideas? How do we want to proceed with that? Do we want this entire commission talking? Do we want a committee of this commission talking behind the scenes that brings something back to the commission? But it's a way to open the door to discuss the topics.
And that would be considered a discussion non-actionable item.
Yes. So, may I make one motion?
Sure.
The first one? Okay, so I move the PC review the CBD height ordinance and determine whether or not changes should be made, beginning with a discussion at next month's August 26th meeting agenda on how to proceed.
Okay, that's the motion.
I'd support that.
What was the meeting date you said?
In August,
Oh, okay.
August 2026,
Okay.
next month's meeting.
So moved and supported to have that agenda item. Any discussion, any further discussion?
Question of Kelly. Do you have some idea of what our agenda looks like without this motion?
We do have several items planned for the August agenda. Yes, I do have some idea what that will look like. I think if this is intended to be a fairly brief discussion item at the August meeting that doesn't require a lot of staff preparation in advance for August, I don't have concern about the Planning Commission asking for some discussion in August.
Thank you.
I guess if we keep it brief, it needs to be discussed. I also know how much time we put into height before. I'm not sure we got very far. And it's frustrating when we have a lot of things that we need to do. This body has a lot of great ideas and input, and then we don't go any further. And I don't necessarily think that that meant that what we had is correct. It's just we got overwhelmed and it just went nowhere. And I don't think we have time to go nowhere.
All right. Moved and supported. Any other discussion? Samantha, why don't you do a roll call, see if we have consensus there.
We're really working her tonight, aren't we?
Campbell,
Yes.
Fenton,
Yes.
Gruber,
Yes.
Heinig,
Yes.
Servetus,
Yes.
Sleeper,
No.
Sherman.
Yes.
Motion carries.
And then the second motion is I move the PC review ordinance language related to architectural character and style in the CBD to determine if any specific language can be developed, beginning with a discussion at next month's August 2026 meeting agenda on how to proceed.
Moved. Is there
Support.
Supported. Any further discussion there? Samantha, one more time, please.
Fenton,
Yes.
Gruber,
No.
Heinig,
Yes.
Servetus,
Yes.
Sleeper,
No.
Campbell,
Yes.
Sherman.
No.
Motion carries.
All right. Thank you all. Item 7 on our agenda, citizens and the audience may address the Planning Commission on items not on the agenda. Would either of you gentlemen like to speak on any items? All right then. Item 8, unfinished business, there was none there. New business, there was none there. Commission member and staff comments. Kelly, would you like to summarize, wrap it up, please?
I would point out our next meeting is the second week in August after the Blueberry Festival in accordance with the adopted schedule. So as a reminder, we will not meet the first week of August. I believe the date to be the 13th. Thank you.
Okay. Commission members. Mike, do you want to lead us off?
Thank you, staff and attorney, to help us with the Fort 19 Phoenix project. Thanks for the support on opening up discussions. Appreciate the fact that we'll have a forum where we can talk among ourselves about these two items to determine if we need to proceed in any way.
Thanks, Mike. Ryan, go ahead.
So, like I said, thank you very much for all of your guidance, and thank you for all of your expertise I got to watch tonight and listen to, and thank you again. I'm glad to be a part of it.
Larry?
Heavy load, commissioners. That was a big job tonight. Thank you all for participation.
Paul, anything to add?
I really said it earlier, and I just think anything we can do that defines the requirements for investors and developers, the more defined the requirements are, the easier it's going to be for them to initiate and proceed with projects. And there's enough uncertainty out there that I think that we don't want to make it more difficult. So I think efforts to really clarify what the requirements are and should be, I think they're valuable, and I think we need to do that. That's all I have.
Thanks. George?
So this is a good meeting for me, a good learning experience. This is a good example under the new zoning ordinance of where you have a plan unit development that it's also a special land use. And I think as we come up on these first-time examples of using the new ordinance, I think we're gonna like we did tonight, we get some learning done And so it'll be ready for the next time that we want to do something like this. That's it.
Thank you. Clark?
Okay, so during the first public comment, do you want to add an additional item for communications received to our meeting agenda template? That was something we kind of skipped over and we talked about it. I wonder if we want to put in our template, communications received.
As a reminder.
As a reminder
that would
for
have
us,
some
put it
merit.
in our template. Because I know sometimes we copy from meeting to meeting and then we're like, oh, we forgot about that. But if we put that little item, maybe we won't forget that. Now, there may not be anything we received, which is awesome. And I don't know if that's going to be number 5 or 4A, public comment received. And if we get it in our template, then next meeting it'll automatically be there.
Good idea.
That was it. Process.
And my failure there was I knew we had received that communication, but I had intended to recognize it under the agenda item. That comment that we received was about 225 North Shore. I thought when we discussed that item, I would reference that. But Nathan, as always, thanks for your prompts. I don't have very much, as always. None of this would happen without Kelly and Samantha and her team, so really appreciate that. Nathan, as always, enormously helpful. The guidance in regard to the potential conflicts is really, really valuable and very, very much appreciated. So, thanks to all of you for your participation, and I will declare us adjourned.